Oh, hello everybody. That's a weird thing for it to finish that way. Hi, how's it going? That was abrupt. Everything's just going crazy right now. Welcome, one and all, to the second sub raffle. Chat's been going for 30 minutes, so I'm not going to say hi to everyone individually like I always do. Chrono down is due. That's right. That's right. That's correct. But thank you all for being here. This is a data-packed stream. It's mostly going to be me talking. If you have any questions as we're going along, I'll try and get to them where there's holes in the script. But if I don't get to your question, you know, keep it in your chat history. I'll try and get everyone's questions at the end of the stream if I miss anything. So this stream is, this is the big reveal. We're going to go over some numbers as we're 5% done. 20 games into our nearly 400 game N64 journey. I am excited. Are you excited? I'm going to flip that question on you. Yes, sir. So yeah, this stream is for you guys. All you guys that love the numbers, that love the pageantry and the mystery. I put this all together. Userman He-Man. Userman He-Man and Dorky, thank you guys for the resubs. Put this together over the course of about presentation I spent about 4 hours on it last night, but numbers and everything like that, this is a labor. You know, it takes about 6 to 8 hours to put all this stuff together for an hour stream or whatever, but it's fun. I like doing it. I hope you guys like watching it. We're gonna be doing a lot of talking. We're gonna have a basic ass OBS PowerPoint. I hope you guys are excited. All right, you ready? You guys ready? Let's do this. Let's go. Let me get my talking music going. All right, let's begin. Thank you all for being here. Time for the second annual. It has been 10 months. Due to life and craziness in 2020 and difficult games, it's been 10 months to get through 15 games, which is way too slow. I need to do better next time. Boop. Alright, we're over here. Chat's gonna be in the way of some stuff. I might close it from time to time. Don't forget to start the... Yeah, I'll remember to start the timer. Thank you. Thank you. Alright. Let's begin. Let's talk about last raffle back in May 2020. Last time there were 28 subs that put in their lists, 5 games apiece, worked out to 140 total nominations. Not total games, but just nominations. We're doing it right now, Atticus. We're doing a basic ass OBS PowerPoint. This time around, obviously, the channel's gotten bigger, things are growing, you guys have been doing fantastic and showing me much love and spreading the gospel of Saint 64. So this time, we've almost doubled the number of sub-submissions. It's up to 48. It's an extra 100 nominations at 5 games apiece. So there is a lot of data to go through. A lot of games to sift through and stack up against each other. Let's go back to last raffle. Last time there were 94 different games that were nominated, which was, at the time, 23.8% of the available N64 library. And what I mean by that is, you've got your 399 games, that's the full library. We'd already beaten 5 of them. So we take those off the list, and of that, 28 people still managed to hit almost a quarter of all the available games. It was a huge, huge spread of possibilities. This time, the list is smaller still, right? We're down to 379 games to choose from. And so this time, 145 different games were nominated. Those extra 20 subs spread it out even farther to over a third of all possible options. More than 1 in 3 N64 games were on the list, eligible to win this raffle. A wide spread, diverse tastes. Not really anything was possible, but certainly a lot of things were possible. I'm going to close chat for a second. Probably for a while. Chat's going to be in the way for a bit here, so I'm going to close you guys out. Everyone say bye. You want to say bye real quick, chat? You want to say bye to YouTube and to the VODs before I blink you out of existence? Alright, thanks. Okay. So now let's talk about the spread of those picks. Last time, it was pretty domestic. People, obviously there's a lot of games that people were familiar with from their childhoods. So, of those 94 games, 90 of them were American releases. There were only 4 individual Japanese picks on the last raffle. This time, though, again, things shrinking, things getting a little wider. Some people want to see some exciting stuff, and so this time, of those 145 games, still a big chunk domestic. 120 of those 145 were American releases, but we did have 24 Japanese releases this time around, and one person picked a European exclusive. There aren't many of those. And two people, or rather, yeah, it was 2 people. I was going to try and be coy about it, but 2 people wanted the 64DD to make an early appearance. So there's only 10 of those games, and already 2 of them made the list this time. So, the numbers are bigger, but even though there's even more USA releases picked this time around, that import push is climbing the hill a little bit. It's much more of a factor this time around. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. I'm gonna get rid of all this. Boop, 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 boop. Alright. So now, we're gonna talk about the Unique Pick Index. The Unique Pick Index is a scale of 1 to 5. So basically the way it works is if everybody that submitted a list picked the exact same 5 games, the Unique Pick Index would be a 1. But if everybody picked a game that nobody else had picked, it would be a 5. 5 is the maximum score. Formula is real simple. How many games were picked divided by the number of subs, that's your UPI. 5 things are chaotic, 1 things are uniform. Last time, it was 3.35, which was way higher than I expected it to be. This is a number that's designed to go down over time, though, because there will be fewer and fewer choices. That will kind of decay as the challenge moves forward. And indeed it did this time, but it still was higher than I thought it would be, because it was 3.02. So what this means is, all 48 people who submitted a list, on average, had 3 picks that no one else chose. On average. Which is pretty wild to think about. Even though we had almost double the number of people putting in lists, we're still above a 3 on the UPI, which is awesome. I love it. I love the diversity. I love seeing everyone's tastes. I love seeing what everyone's out for. And that makes the raffle very interesting. So let's talk about those picks. Alright. Bonk. On the left here, these left 2 boxes, we have the old raffle data. And on the right, we have the current raffle data. I have them sorted into 2 categories, the People's Champs and the Lords of Dankness. If you're in the People's Champs box, it means that your picks are the most likely to be picked because you had the most in common with other people. The games you chose had the most weight in the raffle. If you're in the bottom row, the Lords of Dankness, you can be proud that you have unique tastes, that you're throwing out interesting ideas, you're quirky, you're ahead of the curve, but you're probably not going to win the raffle. So last time around, the People's Champs, we had Trachea44 in the lead, and Craig the Retronaut right behind him. Some people with 7s. So what these points mean, I should explain the numbers in parentheses. These are how I calculate these charts. I give everyone a point for every time someone else picks one of the games that they picked. So if you chose, let's say for example, you picked Pilotwings 64 and 2 other people also picked Pilotwings 64, that means you get 2 points for that game. And so the highest score last time was Trachea with 9. 9 other people picked at least one game that he picked or had similar picks with. And Craig had 8. You see the 7s, the 6s, the 5s, and the 4s. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, with the dankest... it's up to you, Aragorio. It's up to you. You don't have to keep it a secret, but if you want to, you can. On the other end of the spectrum, who had the dankest, most unique lists last time? Quicks and Otaku tied with completely unique lists. Dolly Popka in third with just 1 point. So again, you still can win with these unique lists. It just means your odds are lower. And if it's just what you want to take pride in, do you want to take pride in being on the same wavelength as everyone else? Or do you want to take pride in marching to the beat of a different drum? That's totally up to you. So now we're going to put up the lists for this time, but I don't think it'd be fun to just blip them up here like that. So I'm gonna hide them. Oh, you're right. I did screw that up. And you know the worst part, Dempsey, is that's a graphic. That's I can't just edit that. That is a hard graphic. So, whoops. All right. If you're watching, pretend that bottom right corner says March 2021. I did that at like 4:30 in the morning, so I'll take that L. So I've got 18. Like I said, we have 48 this time. I've split it up into 2 groups of 18. And if you're not on either of these lists and you submitted a list, just know that you landed right in the middle. You're the creamy middle. Not too weird. Not too mainstream. And you get to just enjoy, you know, the pressure of not being on these lists. So I'm going to scroll these up bit by bit. We're going to work our way towards the ends from the center. So on the People's Champ side, Tone of the Sun, the Dawn Rider, both with 7 points apiece this time. Skewing more towards getting their games picked this time around. And on the Lords of Dankness, Wall of Beef, Electro Altruism, 4 points each this time around. Let's keep going. If you see your name, get hype. Atticus, Earn, also 7 points apiece. And Sub-Zero Smoke Rain and the XXL Otaku, 4 points apiece this time. So Otaku led with a totally unique list last time. This time, still in the Lords of Dankness, but not at the top of the chart. First place in both lists gets a $1 gift card to Discovery Zone. That's right. I'm going to ignore that letter. Okay. Who else we got? Super Goblin Lord and Turd Ferg 88. 8 points apiece. 8 points apiece now. And pay no mind to these differing font sizes, too. I had to work to get these to fit. Chosen Last and Craig the Retronaut, 4 points apiece. So Craig had one of the most common lists last time and is now on the opposite end of the spectrum. Muware, Hisuiku Haku, 8 points apiece. And User66 and Big Zeef, 4 points apiece. I'm sorry, User66 had 3 points. So now we're into the top 10s on both sides. The most in common and the most unique lists. At 9th and 10th, we've got Vectorman 0 and Dempsey 672. 9 points Vectorman, 8 points Dempsey. And on the unique side, we have the Real Teximosis and Soundtrack 26 with the Peach emote. 3 points apiece. Let's keep going. 8 Dom 8 Kydrian, 10 points, 9 points each. And Quicks and RP Genius, 3 points apiece. RP Genius was in the 5th most common last time. This time flipped it. Went with some obscure picks. And there's Quicks. Also dethroned from the most ultimate Lord of Dankness position from last time. Let's go top 5. Dorky on TV and Hamilcar 17, 10 points apiece. Aardvark, Dan Highland, 3 points apiece. Next up, Battle Hamster in 4th, 10 points. Nivik Viking in 3rd. 3rd most common picks, 11 points. What's up, Trachea? Ramses 91 and Userman He-Man, 2 points apiece. Last raffle, you had the most picks in common with everyone else. Now, we're about to reveal the final 2. There's a clear favorite in the People's Champs most in common. There's a name that stands alone here, and I'm just going to do this. Holybeard 66 in 2nd place with 12 points. The second most common picks out of everybody. There is a tie again in the Lords of Dankness. There are 2 users who have no picks in common with anybody else. Their lists were totally unique. I'll reveal that after we reveal who the People's Champ is. This time around, the person with the picks most in common with everybody else. Sornus Bear, jumping from 3rd to 1st with 13 picks in common with everybody. But who are our 2 Lords of Dankness this block? Who picked the most unique stuff out of everybody? That's going to be Hickther and Orkybork. Hickther and Orkybork had 5 games apiece, and they chose 5 games that nobody else chose. You can hold your head high as the Lords of Dankness for the next 15 games. And yeah, if you've submitted a list, you're not on these, then you are the creamy middle. So there you go. There you go. That's all the data there. Congratulations to everybody. Again, take pride in wherever you land. Are you a forward-thinking wild card who likes to buck trends? Or do you speak for the people and you want to make sure that your game gets picked? Or are you in the middle? Live best of both worlds. Best of both worlds. It doesn't matter, Electro, as long as you were a sub at any point. At any point between games 18 and 20, your picks are valid. Okay, so now let's talk about those games. Let's actually talk games. So what I've got here is, on the left, we're going to have all the games that were in the top 20 last time. And then on the right, what was in the top 20 this time. The most popular game this time around had 6 votes. Last time it was 4. There was 1 game that had 4. Now there's 1 game that has 6. We've got 2 games that got 5 votes. 4 games that got 4 votes. It's like an actual exponential scale here. And then 12 games that got 3 votes. And to pick the last game, since I only had one, 28 to 48, Hickther. 28 to 48. No, a lot of games got 2 votes, but since I only had 1 more spot left in the top 20, the way I break the ties is I pick the game that I was most surprised to see get 2 votes, and that's the one that gets shown here. Same with the list on the left here. I'd sort of, if there's got to be a tie break, I do it by what I was most surprised to see. So, let's look at last time's list. Here's the top 20 from March. I wrote, I got the months mixed up this time. Whew, I probably shouldn't have been as tired as I was when I did this. Okay, so it should say March at the top there. And it should say May on the left. Boy, oh boy. Yeah, the most votes last time was 4. And that game was Chameleon Twist. With 3 votes apiece, Gex 64, Harvest Moon, Hexen, Mega Man, Mission Impossible, Mortal Kombat 4, MK Mythologies Sub-Zero, Ogre Battle 64, Star Wars Shadows of the Empire, Tony Hawk 2, and WCW NWO Revenge. And then the oddball 2 votes last time were Aero Gauge, Armorines, Army Men Sarge's Heroes, Bass Hunter 64, Body Harvest, Cruisin' USA, Tom and Jerry, and War Gods. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up from the bottom, up that list on the left, and if any of those games showed back up, we will we'll reveal them on this board. Does that sound good? Alright, so let's start with War Gods. War Gods last time, 2 votes. This time around, nothing. War Gods completely fell off. Did not make the cut. Nobody picked it this time. Tom and Jerry, 2 votes last time. This time, 1 vote. Not in the top 20. Cruisin' USA went from 2 votes to 2 votes. Stayed steady, but of course the margin for success is much higher now. Body Harvest had 2 votes last time. This time around, 4 votes. Body Harvest finished with 4 votes. It is in the top 20. It's grown in popularity from people. This is a 70% increase in votes. And yeah, you're right. But yeah. Staying steady in without following the curve. So Body Harvest, if you're not familiar with it, is made by DMA, the people who made Grand Theft Auto. It's kind of like a sci-fi game that really kind of implements some of the ideas of Grand Theft Auto. I think before even the first GTA came out. There is vehicle swapping, there is open worlds. So Body Harvest still remaining a popular pick. What else we got? Bass Hunter 64 went from 2 votes down to 1 vote this time. Army Men Sarge's Heroes we already played. That one's not going to be on the board anymore. Armorines was at 2 votes, and it stays at 2 votes. Staying with 2 with Armorines. And Aero Gauge went from 2 votes to falling off the list again. Nobody picked Aero Gauge this time around. No nominations for Aero Gauge. So what about the 3-vote games then? We've only got 1 game carrying over from last raffle to this one, and we're down to 12 games left. So there's going to be a lot of changes, I think. WCW NWO Revenge, 3 votes last time. This time, no votes. I think it was the only... No, I might be wrong about that. But yeah, nobody picked Revenge this time around. It was a top pick last time. This time, no support. Maybe it's because we're playing a wrestling game right now. I don't know. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, 3 votes last time. This time, 1 vote. Not in the top 20. Star Wars Shadows of the Empire, 3 votes last time, and this time, 3 votes. Wrestling game on the same engine? Yeah, that's true. So Star Wars Shadows of the Empire, the first Star Wars game on the N64, a mixture of first-person shooting and vehicular combat segments. A totally unique story taking place between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Still in the top 20, still hanging in there at 3 votes. Alright, Ogre Battle? Ogre Battle went from 3 votes this time to 2 votes this time. Lost a little bit, lost a step. Lost a step here. Not in the top 20 this time around. MK Mythologies Sub-Zero, same deal. 3 down to 2. Not in the top 20. Mortal Kombat 4, same deal. 3 down to 2. Doesn't make the cut this time. But still in the raffle. All these games are still in the raffle. What about Mission Impossible? Mission Impossible had 3 votes last time. And this time, it has 4 votes. Mission Impossible towards the top of this raffle. Based on the movie, stealth action game. Not a game I know a lot about. Just something that's super common. I think a lot of people played this one, but I never really did. I never messed with this game too much. Yeah, the movie of the same name. Absolutely. That was a very early in development N64 game. It took a long time for that one to come out, but it was heavily advertised. Mega Man 64, 3 votes last time. This time, 2 votes. Hexen, we played. That one's off the board. So we only have 3 left. We only have 3 games left to look at. We already played Gex 64, so that one's gone. Which means that even though we have a top 20 here, only at most, spoiler alert, they will, we're only going to have 5 returning games from last top 20 to this top 20. There's a big upheaval. A lot of new faces this time around. So Harvest Moon had 3 votes last time. And this time, it has 3 votes. Harvest Moon, keeping up the farm sim hype. Considered by a lot of people, I believe, to be the best of the Harvest Moon games. It remains a popular pick in the raffle, in the top 20. And then we had last time's champion, Chameleon Twist. The only game to get 4 votes in the previous raffle. It didn't get picked, but it's back. It's still on the board, and it falls to 2nd place. It is not the champion this raffle. It did pull 5 votes. Chameleon Twist had a very slow start this raffle. It was looking like it was going to completely drop off, and really late, a bunch of votes came in for it and popped it back up to the top for a while, and then something else passed it. So Chameleon Twist in 2nd place this time around. So who are these new faces? We've got 15 new games in the top 20. 15! That's a lot. Let me check my list here real quick, make sure I didn't skip anything. No, we're doing good. We're doing good. All right. So let's start from the back and let's work our way up. What's the game that I was most surprised to see get 2 votes? Well, it's a Japanese game. There were a couple Japanese, like I said, we had 24, I think, N64 games work their way into the Japanese N64 games work their way into the raffle this time. So the one that caught me the most by surprise, because there were a few actually, there were a few that got 2 votes. The one that surprised me the most has a very basic name, and that name is Mahjong 64. But it's just called Mahjong 64. I don't know why. I don't know what it's about. It's a Koei game. There's not a lot of Koei N64 games. It's clearly Mahjong. And there's a lot of Mahjong games on the N64, but this one, I think, led the pack. That one got 2 votes. So, kudos to Mahjong for being this raffle's wild card. Now then, the 3 votes. The 3-vote games. Yes, of course, yes. Let's talk about the ones that didn't really surprise me. Not surprising, Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask got 3 votes this time around. It squeaked by Ocarina of Time by 1 vote. Is it, Tone? Is it? We'll see. Majora's Mask got 3 votes this time around. There's not a lot I need to say. You know, the second Zelda game on the N64, the one with a 3-day time loop that you have to navigate. You have to constantly kind of work your way around these temporal puzzles in addition to going through a open Zelda universe. Just barely, people want to see Majora's Mask more than they want to see Ocarina of Time. So that made the top 20 this time around. What else is super popular? How about Donkey Kong 64? Donkey Kong 64, love it or hate it, it is a very large collectathon featuring 5 different playable Kongs and lots of items to grab, lots of upgrades to collect. Donkey Kong 64 gets 3 votes this time around. I'm a fan. I like Donkey Kong 64. So I'm in on that one. What else is popping? Do a barrel roll? Star Fox 64, Coconut Guns, Fire and Spurts, absolutely. Star Fox 64, the game that launched the Rumble Pack for the N64, got 3 votes this time around. Again, not much to say about that game. Probably the best Star Fox game ever made. Sort of a rail shooter, flight sim type game. Great soundtrack, fully voiced, lots of action, some secrets to find. Taught you to use bombs wisely. There you go. There you go. What other ones? What else we got in the popular category? I was not surprised to see. How about Resident Evil 2? Resident Evil 2, the miraculous port of a game that spanned 2 CDs, crunched down into a 64 megabyte N64 cartridge, and rather well, I might say. Resident Evil 2 got 3 votes this time around. People are liking what Scuddy and RP Genius are doing, perhaps. Want to see the N64 side of the fence, see what Resident Evil looked like for us Nintendo buyers. I was definitely in that group. My friend was playing Resident Evil all the time on his PlayStation, and I'd have to go home and play Beetle Adventure Racing. But then this port came out, I rented it, I definitely played a lot of it. Alright, we've got 6 3-vote games left. How about Paper Mario? Paper Mario, one of the few RPGs on the N64, a reimagining of the Mario RPG franchise with really gorgeous 2D visuals, an iconic timing-based battle system, lots of whimsical writing. We haven't had an RPG come up yet, and we've already got, what, Harvest Moon and Paper Mario on this list? That's exciting. How about... let's do another import. How about Tetris 64? I put it over there because N64 Japanese boxes are oriented differently, so it's harder to get them to fit. But Tetris 64, the only Japanese exclusive puzzle game, or Tetris game on the N64. This is the one that has the heartbeat sensor that makes the pieces fall faster the faster your heart rate is going. This one pulled 3 votes. This one pulled 3 votes this time around. I don't really know a lot about this game in terms of actual gameplay. I know someone in chat said that they used to play this a lot with their friends. I like puzzle games. I'm kind of excited to play this one. We just picked it up, so that was fortunate. I do still need to get the heartbeat sensor, though. But there you go. 2 import games right next to each other there on the list. Let's replay Birdman. We're not quite done with the data yet here. Okay, now we're getting into some surprising 3-vote games. We're running out of the commoners. We got Starcraft 64. Again, kind of a game that you scratch your head how they fit it on the N64. This game has both the entire Starcraft campaign and the Brood War campaign, and I think maybe a couple bonuses as well. 2-player split-screen multiplayer. It's an oddball. It's weird that it exists, but it exists, and 3 people voted for it. They want to see RTS. You don't craft any stars. You don't. But you do Jim Raynor stuff, and that's cool. So Starcraft 64. I'm going to be really bad at this game, but I'm really excited. I used to play a ton of Starcraft on PC, and none of those skills, of which there were few, are going to carry over. Alright. Here's a weird one. Flying Dragon. 2 Natsume games next to each other. Flying Dragon got 3 votes this time. It's part of the Hiryu no Ken series, which started on the NES, and this is sort of the tail end of the franchise. It's like a fighting RPG hybrid. I have never played this game. I don't know really like anything about the N64 version of Flying Dragon, But I was surprised to see 3 people pick it this time. The support's growing for that game, so its time may be coming. We may end up playing that soon. We'll see. We'll see. I haven't done the reveal yet, but that one's totally blind for me. I don't know anything about that game. Like I said, I've only really played the NES ones, and I've watched a little bit of the Super Nintendo ones. So there's Flying Dragon. And we've got Superman with 3 votes. I see you, Troll Nation. Or people doing me a favor so I don't have to be like, yeah, we're going to play Superman. Not sure, but either way, people love the meme. 3 people voted to see Superman come up this time. Notoriously often cited as the worst N64 game ever, but I do think it will not end up at the bottom of my list. But we'll see. I have not given it a full playthrough. I've barely played it, but we'll see what happens with that one. And then finally with 3 votes, why? Why, guys? Why you like this? Already? You guys already want me to play Pokemon Stadium 2. We're not that... I don't know if I've recovered enough yet, but 3 of you did vote to see Pokemon Stadium 2. So it cracks the top 20 this time around. The meme is growing, the legend continues. We do still have 2 more Pokemon Stadium games to go. We can't outrun them forever. We can't just put them off and put them off and put them off. Especially not if people are nominating them for the sub-raffles. So we've got 2 games with 4 votes yet to be revealed. Cult Classic, a game that a lot of people are fond of, a genre that's not very common on the N64. Mischief Makers, a game developed by Treasure, one of their 2 or 3, no, it's got to be 3 or more, at least 3 N64 developed games. It's a 2D platformer. You shake stuff. Really great secret finding system. Really satisfying 100% in this game. I don't think it got picked at all last raffle, and this time it's at the top of the list. It got 4 votes this time. So 4 votes for Mischief Makers, a game I have 100%ed before. Our other 4-vote game, I think I have to admit, is the game that I didn't understand. Maybe you guys know what the deal is. I don't know how this game got 4 votes. I am oblivious to the reason that this game got 4 votes. And that game is NHL 99. Just NHL 99, EA Sports, hockey game. A lot of support this time around. People want to see this one. I have no idea what makes this game unique. I've never ever played NHL 99. We haven't done a hockey game yet. There's a lot of hockey to choose from, but that's the one that pulled 4 votes this time around. Canadian viewers? Could be. So, hockey showing out this raffle. Beating the likes of Majora's Mask, Star Fox, Pokemon Stadium, hockey. Hockey's right there. Tied for 4th. We have one other 5-vote game, finishing tied for 2nd with Chameleon Twist. And I think it's one that a lot of people have been asking for. Obviously, it's got 5 votes, but it's a frequent topic of discussion around here. Coming in with 5 votes, the inaugural RPG of the N64, Quest 64, the single-player, one-party member, magic-oriented RPG. Love it or hate it, it is always a topic of discussion. We are, of course, I don't need to tell you guys, a Quest-positive chat around here. And that is reflected in the fact that 5 people voted for Quest 64 this time. But that means we only have one game left to reveal. The game that won the raffle The game that got the most votes. And this was another late bloomer. This one really shot up from the back right at the end. A bunch of people requested it. Just pop, 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 pop. And then, boom, there it was in front. And it's a great game. It's a game I'm very looking forward to playing. Some of you may have already done the math and figured it out. The winner of the March, don't ignore that May up there, the March 2020 sub raffle is Mario Golf. Give it a 5. Pretty good. Mario Golf was the most requested game in this raffle. Made by Camelot Software, predecessor to Hot Shots Golf. Of course, we've got the new Mario Golf dropping soon, so maybe people are riding that that vibe. Mario Golf has a lot of great modes. It's got
I'm giving myself a 5. Pretty good.
There you go. Playable characters from the Mario universe as well as unique characters. It's got transfer pack support, so you can import your characters from the Game Boy Color version. It's got mini golf. It's got speed golf. It's got so many modes, so much content. A really fun golf game. Mario Golf is the leader in your sub raffle this time. But of course, these are not guarantees. This only weighs the games in these favors. There's no guarantee that any of these 20 games are going to get picked. But there's only one way to find out, right? There's only one way to find out. It's time to reveal the 10 games that have been chosen for games number 23 through 32. Now, these numbers are not hard because, of course, director's chairs will supersede these, and we do have a director's chair coming up. Tone of the Sun just redeemed a director's chair last night. But after No Mercy and after Banjo-Tooie, these are the next 10 games that are getting locked and slotted in. It's 5 games chosen by the subs, 5 games chosen by pure RNG. So even if you don't win, even if your game doesn't get picked, it may have still gotten picked off of the full list. So it's still just 5 from the sub raffle, but we do the 5 RNG picks with it as well. So we're revealing the next 10 games of the challenge. Ready? You guys ready to do this? Good luck, everybody. Good luck. Let me, I gotta get something here real quick. Those got steamrolled by director's chairs. I yield those picks to the people who take director's chairs just so that you guys can still keep picking and keep participating in these exciting raffles, these exciting moments of community support. So, game number 23. Let's not waste time. Let's give respect where it's due. Only one game deserves this spot, and that's your winner. Mario Golf will be taking place after Banjo-Tooie. 6 votes this time around. We're bumping it to the front of the list. Mario Golf chosen by Dempsey, Earn, Nivik Viking, Vector Man, Hisuiku Haku, and Turdferg88. Those are your 6 Mario Golf voters. They chose it, and it will be played in just a couple games. Mario Golf is happening, folks. Game number 23. So, there you are. 1 game down, 9 games to go. Will they all be the most commonly picked games? Will it just go 1 through 10? Game number 24. Road Rash 64. We played Road Rash on the 3DO on stream. It was very difficult. This one got 2 votes this time around, chosen by A. Aardvark and Battle Hamster. This is a motorcycle racing, combat-driven game. So not only do you have to win, but you gotta avoid attacks, avoid the police, and finish first to get that sweet, sweet prize money. Road Rash 64 with 2 votes. is your game number 24. Moving on to number 25. 2 down, 8 to go. Number 25, after Road Rash, we are going to play Shadow Man. I don't really know a lot of... I saw this game a lot, but I never played it. I've never watched it. I've never seen it in action. I think it's based off a comic series. This is kind of like Acclaim riding the Turok vibes. It's a voodoo-focused game, rated M. So there's going to be some violence, some gore. There's a skull on the cover. Shadow Man will be game number 25. Shadow Man chosen by... we got 2 votes for this one. Aardvark again. Aardvark. 2 picks in a row. And Dorky on TV. Picked Shadow Man. So that's going to be the game we play after Road Rash is Shadow Man. Alright, up next at number 26. Sports. Nagano Winter Olympics 98. Only 1 vote for this one. Only 1 vote for this one from Battle Hamster. Battle Hamster getting another pick on the board here. That game does have curling. It's a Konami sports game. You get to play, I think, over a dozen... I'm not sure how many events are in it, but there's a lot. There's speed skating, bobsledding, ski jumping, curling. Nagano Winter Olympics 98 will be your game number 26 after Shadow Man. And then that brings us to, of course, the last game chosen from the sub-raffle. So the next 5 picks, your games that you picked are still on the list. We picked off of the entire N64 list for games 28 through 32. Just did a random drawing, pulled 5 games, pop, 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 pop. There they are. But the last one that the subs influenced, good luck everyone. Game number 28. Sorry, 27. Game number 27 is Ready to Rumble Boxing. A boxing game made by Midway. Came out, I think it was a launch title for the Dreamcast. It was kind of a smash hit. People were really all about Ready to Rumble for a minute there. It's a boxing game, but it's a little cartoony. I think it's got super moves. It's a little silly. Ready to Rumble Boxing is the final game of the sub-raffle. Chosen by Ramses91, the only person who picked this game, and it squeaks in at number 27. So there's your sub-raffle winners right there. Mario Golf, Road Rash, Shadow Man, Nagano Winter Olympics 98, and Ready to Rumble Boxing. We've got 5 more games to show. These ones were chosen, like I said, off of the entire list of remaining N64 games. So anything goes. Last time, this is the group that brought us Mickey's Speedway, Pokemon Stadium, Kobe Bryant, No Mercy, and Banjo-Tooie. So last time we got hit with just like long, difficult games. Are we gonna get off easy this time? Are we gonna get some easier ones maybe? We'll see. We'll see. So this is like a second chance. Maybe some of you guys picked some of these games and they got picked by the RNG later rather than in the weighted sub-raffle. Game number 28 after Ready to Rumble Boxing will be NASCAR 99. I don't know. I used to play some NASCAR games on the computer when I was a kid. My stepdad is a big NASCAR fan. I have never played this one. I don't know what it's going to entail. I don't know how long or difficult this is going to be. NASCAR races are usually really long. There goes a tire call. That's your favorite. Did anyone pick NASCAR this time? NASCAR. Nope. This one got 0 votes. NASCAR 99 coming out of nowhere will be your game number 28. No hot Daytona jams. Maybe there would be some good jams. I hope there's some good jams. I doubt there'll be Daytona tier though. I don't know. I have to pick a driver. And I don't have a NASCAR driver. That's going to be something. That's going to be something. Alright. So we have, technically speaking, 3 sports games in a row here. Very different sports games, though. Very, very different styles. You've got the sort of multi-event Olympic game, the arcade, silly style midway boxing one, and then a straight-up EA Sports NASCAR game. So is it going to be more sports at number 29? Are we going to keep the chain going? Game number 29 is Vigilante 8 Second Offense. So just like with Banjo-Tooie in the last block, we're going to do a sequel before we do the original. This is a car combat game. Its biggest competitor was obviously Twisted Metal. Vigilante 8 has some different flavor to it, some different style of gameplay. Some people prefer one, some people prefer the other. Vigilante 8's Second Offense will be game number 29. So we're going to go cars to shooting cars. Alright, 3 games left. Did anyone pick this one? Did anyone pick Vigilante 8? Nope, no one picked either Vigilante 8 game this time. But the RNG gods are making it real. Alright, see, we got some love for Vigilante 8 in the chat right now. You guys will get to look forward to that one. Let's see, that's what, 9 games from now? So 2024. We are for sure playing Vigilante 8. Game number 30. Game number 30, the big 3-0. What's going to put us at 7.5% complete on the N64 when we finish it? How about Duke Nukem 0 Hour? Again, another N6... Well, this one's N64 exclusive. I'm pretty sure it still is. But the sequel, N64 exclusive, Duke Nukem 64 sequel. We're going to play that one before we play the original Duke Nukem 64. It's time to chew ass and kick bubblegum. I have never played this game. I don't know what it's like. I've played a lot of Duke Nukem 3D. I've played a little bit of the 64 port. I have never seen this game, so I don't know what to expect. We got another first-person shooter. It's been a while, right? GoldenEye. They've been spread apart pretty far. So that's another first-person shooter. That's going to be game number 30, the big 3-0. 2 games left. Did anyone pick Duke Nukem? I don't think so. We had 2 people picked Duke Nukem 64, but nobody picked 0 Hour. Is this one a third person? I don't know. It might be. If it is, cool. But, yeah, I don't know. I literally don't know anything about that game other than it was N64 exclusive. And that brings us to game 31. Now, do you guys see something missing here? Do you guys see something missing off this list? Or rather, off the past 30 games? I'll tell you. We haven't had an import game yet. And that's going to change. Game number 31 is going to be a game that did not come out in the United States of America. We're having our first import game of the challenge. It's a cool looking one. It's an early N64 game, and thankfully it's been translated into English. So we can play this one without having to learn Japanese quite yet. Which narrows it down if you know your N64 translations, because there aren't many. Game number 31 is Wonder Project J2, Josette of the Corlo Forest. This is an NX game. It's a sequel to a Super Nintendo game. I haven't played the I remember reading about this in magazines and being really excited because I thought the graphics were really good. In the Super Nintendo one, you kind of do like point and click stuff to guide a robot and make him more human. This is the sequel to that. I assume it follows similar themes, similar gameplay styles. The graphics are great. Great pixel arts. From a unique publisher, Nintendo, THQ, Acclaim, Konami, Midway, EA, Activision, yeah, GT, and NX, yeah. So I've never played this one. That's going to be totally blind. It's been translated into English. It's going to be a very, very big change of pace. I don't think we've had like a slow game like that. And then that only leaves us with one more game. one more game to pick in this block, and then we're done here. We're all done. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for crunching the data with me. Now I have some good news. Nobody picked one, so I don't think anybody picked any of these games so far on the right side. These were all completely zero vote, not chosen games. But the final game on this list, yeah, it's on this list too. It's on this list too. We know it's not Mario Golf. We can take Mario Golf off the board, but one of these other 19 games, someone gets a second chance to get their game picked. The last game of this sub-raffle, game number 32 of the challenge. With 4 votes. As chosen by Turdferg88. Sorry, 3 votes. 3 votes. Hang on a second. 3 votes. 3 votes. I said 4. I meant 3. As chosen by Lizardman for Hire, Molly Ranchers, and Turdferg88. Harvest Moon 64. We're gonna farm, guys. It's gonna get real chill right after number 30. It's gonna get real laid back, real chill. There you have it. There you have it. Unique publisher for every game. There you go. Total accident. And there's some themes here. We got some racing games, we got some sports games, we got some chill games. We got some action games. I don't know Harvest Moon 64. Harvest Moon's a franchise I've always wanted to get into, and I've never found the gate. I've never found the way to get interested in it. I think it's beautiful. I love the idea, and I haven't been able to crack it yet. So we're gonna have to play Harvest Moon 64. It's gonna be extremely blind. There's probably gonna be a lot of people who want to backseat that one. So please restrain thyselves. But there's your sub-raffle. There it is. The sub-raffle will return when we are on game number 33. Whether it's through these games or through Director's Chairs. Like I said, Toan just redeemed a Director's Chair last night. But he has asked us to do some backlog stuff first, so we're going to be taking a break from the N64 for a bit. I don't know how long. We'll see how long it takes. But at most, the next week and a half are going to be N64 free. And then we'll return with No Mercy. But if we can get through a couple games that Toan's asked for, then we will return to the N64 with something that's not on this list. The least stressful game? Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. Alright, everyone happy? Everyone like what they see? Everyone excited? What game are you guys most excited for? Let me do this. Let me bring chat up. Chat's already up. Let me make it a little bigger. J2, most excited for our first import game. I want to see some Nagano. Ready to rumble. Mario Golf. See, this is what I like. Vigilant. See? Right there. 7 in a row. 8 in a row. All different games from 8 different people. I like that a lot. You've seen or heard of pretty much everything else. You just want to see me do something not done a lot? Yeah. I think, I don't see... I mean, it's kind of cheating because Big Zeef's been doing his randomizer, and I've seen a lot of snippets of games over there. But I think I've never seen a Wonder Project J2 stream. I've never seen a NASCAR 99 stream, Duke Nukem 0 Hour, Vigilante 8 Second Offense. The game on this list I'm certainly most familiar with is Mario Golf, but I'm rusty. Never played Road Rash, never played Shadow Men, never played Nagano. Played Ready to Rumble on the Dreamcast a little bit, and that's it. I've never played any of the ones on the right either. So a lot of good shit, a lot of exciting stuff. Like I said, the next sub-raffle when we are 32 games deep in the challenge, we've got 32 done, you guys will have another chance to vote just like you did this time, as long as you're subbed to the channel at any point. So that's it. That's it. There's one more thing I want to do, though. There's one more thing I'd like to do that we haven't done before. And if you've been following along, you knew this was coming. This list is missing Tigger. Yeah, no Tigger this time. Oh yeah, did you guys have any questions? Any things you want to know about, like, certain games? How many votes things received? I'll be happy to answer any Raffle questions right now. Just questions in general, doesn't have to be tied to how many votes things got. But yeah, if you guys have any questions. How many games received 1 vote? 80. 80 different games got 1 vote. Pachinko votes? More than you think. More than you think. 2 Pachinko games got 1 vote, and 1 Pachinko game got 2 votes. It was right there along with Mahjong to grab that 20th spot on the top 20 list, but I decided that because there were so many other Pachinko games that got picked and only 1 other Mahjong vote, I went with Mahjong 64 as a surprising 2. But yeah. Sculptor's Cut got 2 votes. 2 people picked Sculptor's Cut. I was real nervous about that one. I'm not gonna lie. Wrestling game votes? Very few. Very few. 1 vote for WrestleMania 2000 and 1 vote for WCW World Tour. And that's it. And that's it for wrestling games. The game I think will be the most agonizing on this list, it could very easily be NASCAR. That's going to be a game that I'm probably going to have to get some skill development in. If not NASCAR, though, I would probably pick Harvest Moon. Just because it has the potential to be very long. Like, even though it's going to be very relaxed, the fact that I don't know what I'm doing, and that there might be a lot of backseat help, Harvest Moon could be a tough one. Yeah, I've read that, KR Blade. I read that the voice recognition unit was calibrated for higher pitched voices. So, I'll use a falsetto for that game, I guess. I don't know. 2 M-rated games. Yep, Shadow Man and Duke Nukem. Nagano is old enough to be kids to adults instead of E for everyone. Yeah. Wonder Project J2 is also. That one came out in 1996. That's a year 1 N64 game. But obviously, no ESRB in Japan. Cartha says it's rigged. I don't know, man. I don't think I would have picked NASCAR 99-28 if it was rigged. I think I might have waited on that one a little bit. Most shocking pick based on what I know of the picker. That's tough. That's a tough one. Because there's a lot of data that I haven't really considered that. And I don't want to... It's got to be someone I know well, right? I mean, I could pick Hictor's an easy one, because Hictor chose... He said it earlier, 4 import games, and then basically out of a hat, Quake 2. So that Quake 2 one is definitely an outlier. Yeah. Gotta honor Cool Runnings? Maybe. No licensed music in Road Rash 64, yep. No Soundgarden, no Swerve Driver. You know, another good one for that, this will be my last answer to that question, Otaku. One of the people that picked NHL 99, remember how NHL 99 was weirdly 4 votes deep? Kydrian picked that game. So, that was surprising. That was, I mean, that game getting 4 votes in and of itself, really, I just didn't know. I didn't know how it happened. Didn't get picked this time, but I didn't know how NHL 99 mustered up that much support. Good for it, though. Good for it. Yeah, you want to see the top 20? There you go. There's your top 20 this time around. I guess it's okay that this is May 2021, because it might be May before we get to this block of games. Who picked Stadium 2? I don't necessarily want to out that. I don't want to out that. I'm not going to name and shame on that one. I don't want people to get harassed for trying to make Pokemon Stadium happen. But if you're in the chat and you want to stand up, if you want to declare yourself to be Spartacus, go right ahead. All right. So, there's one more thing I want to do tonight, and then I'm probably going to just call it a night. We're going to call it an early Friday. We'll start fresh on Monday with Toen's director's chair, which means front missions staying in the box for a little longer. I'm going to try to do a front mission stream this weekend to make up for missing Monday, but I also don't want to beat myself up for missing streams. The good news is, if you're on the Discord, we are going to do another schedule poll this weekend. I want to up my streaming hours from 25 a week to 30 a week again. So that means more Radon content for you guys to consume. As always, I'll be asking you guys, though, like, how many days you want that to be. So if you're in the Discord, keep an eye out for that poll. If you're not in the Discord, hey, join the Discord. You can be in the Discord if you want. There's a link. YouTube's screwed because that's going to expire in, like, a day. And I won't upload this to YouTube for, like, a year. But there is one more thing I want to do before we call it. I need something a little more chilled out music-wise. Let's do some Ogre Bottle. Let's do some Ogre Bottle. Alright. I want to do... Why isn't that working? There we go. I want to do a tier list. I want to do a tier list of... That's not good. Hang on. Hang on. I gotta fix this. Give me a second. I want to do a tier list of the 20 games we've played so far. There we go. Let me add chat to this. If you've been following along, you've been here for the game completions and my sort of, my takes at the end of each game, my opinions of each game. You may already know where stuff's going to be ranked, but I've got 10 ranks here, and they are, I'll explain them. First off, they're letter graded from G, F, E, D, C, B, A, plus, S, and triple S. But then I've also given them a description. Triple S, I believe to be essential experiences. Things that, if you own an N64, you have to play these games. They are what the N64 is about. They are emblematic and timeless to that platform. S tier is what I call fun from start to finish, and these are games that are satisfying. Like, usually, you know, I say, like, games, they aren't meant to hold out for 100%. Like, if you 100% a game, it's usually a labor of love, and not because the game is good enough to merit it all the way through. But anything in the S tier is. It's just fun from 0% to 100%. A plus tier is absolutely worth beating once. Not 100%ing, but, like, yeah, play this game, beat it, you'll have a good time. And then if you want to keep going, do it. But at the very least, you should have a playthrough of this game under your belt. A tier, good games with rough spots. Games I liked, games I enjoyed, but games that had some spots that weren't as good as they could be. some things that drag down the experience. B tier, solidly enjoyable. Just, you know, yeah, it's good. It's all right. It's a good time. You'll have fun. It's not gonna wow you, but you'll have fun. Speaking of, C tier is flawed but fun. And these are games that I felt had deep problems, but the gameplay was good enough that it was still a worthwhile play for me. D tier, give these a try. You know, this is where I start saying, like, you know, just play it once, give it a half hour. If it sucks, put it away. Don't ever think about it ever again. The E tier is bright spots only. So these are games that I really just considered to be, it's kind of the opposite of good games with rough spots. This is basically like not good games, but they had some moments. They had some small things that I enjoyed, that lightened the experience a little bit. F tier is missed opportunities. These are games that I felt had potential, but just through design or execution, stumbled on their own feet and didn't deliver on what they could have. And then, of course, G tier, the lowest tier, gets the 3 most sinister words I can offer on this stream, and that is that they weren't for me. I'm not going to say they're bad. I'm just going to say they weren't for me. So, the other thing you should know about my tier list is that I believe you can break these down into equal 10% slices. I believe, and I will build it in such a way that every time we do this tier list, each tier will have the same number of games in it. So things will be shifted up and down as we play more games. But I think there's going to be 40 games in each of these tiers. And I will slot them in appropriately. So this time around, we've got 20 games, which means each tier is going to have 2 games in it. And this is a living document. Like I said, don't be disappointed if things are low. They could climb. Or things that are super high could get bumped down. But we're going to do 2 games in each tier. Do you guys want to start at the top or the bottom? You want to go bad to good or good to bad? Ah, spoilers. I was afraid that was going to happen. I was afraid that was going to happen, but I had to open it anyways. I should have known. You guys are split down the middle on this one. Bad to good, bad to good. Alright, bad to good's taking it. So let's start at the bottom then. Games that weren't for me. Games that were not for me. And you guys probably know this was coming. First one we're going to put up. Army Men, Sarge's Heroes. I just had such a struggle with this game, and the worst part about it is I can tell, like, if this game had come out 5 years later, the sort of over-the-shoulder third-person shooter was so popular and so refined that this game would have been right in the conversation. But between the bugginess, the constant crashing, and more than anything, the lack of gameplay style, like, you had to play this game as a sniper. There's no defensive mechanics. There's no way to dodge incoming fire. So you don't hit enemies from the maximum draw distance. You just soak damage the whole game. I just had such a hard time with it. Between the technical side of the game not working, and when the game was working, it was just sort of missing, between the one analog stick control and the lack of a defensive option, it was missing any flexibility in its gameplay style. And I just wound up walking away from it extremely disappointed. So, Army Men Sarge's Heroes is going to be G tier. The other G tier game, and this one's weird for me, Jeopardy's G tier. And this is a much different scenario, because Jeopardy delivered on everything it promised. Like, this is a Jeopardy game, and there's not a lot of, you can't do a lot with a Jeopardy game unless you go absolutely wild. But I had to put it down here just because, like, if I had bought this game new for $60 and I'd have been done with it in like an hour or two, I'd have been so upset about it. The presentation was really kind of jagged. the voice clips and the Alex Trebek FMV was nice, but like things just didn't. The text didn't look good. The keyboard wasn't even like optimized where you could easily delete things or put spaces in with different buttons. Jeopardy was just ultimately really underwhelming. It's a game that I really wouldn't play unless I had people over that wanted to play a game show game together. But I could just as easily play NES Jeopardy or Super Nintendo Jeopardy or Computer Jeopardy. Like, even when this game came out, there were other options that delivered the same experience, and I just felt like, aside from really off-kilter visual presentation, there's nothing added here. So Jeopardy is going to end up in the G tier for now with Army Men. So now we're talking F tier. Games that I felt had promise but didn't deliver. It did give us Igloo. Yeah. Quality moment there. Games that I thought had promise and didn't deliver. And we're going to go with the most recent. NFL Blitz 2001 is going in the F tier. Like I said, I feel like at this point they already lost the thread. They had a great idea with NFL Blitz, and by the third game in the franchise for the N64, it didn't feel like they were following that script anymore. Instead of making it crazier and more over the top, they watered it down with more traditional football. And that was the wrong direction to take this franchise. There was bugs, there was weird behavior from the game, from music crashing to the game freezing to players hilariously running into the stands after a play for no reason. Some of those bugs were funny, some of them were frustrating, and the overall design of trying to make a football game with simple, accessible arcade controls, but adding more technical football into it and keeping those controls stripped down, made for a really frustrating experience that really offered no reward for playing through it. Like, they gave me so little as a treat for sticking through that one, to the point where you guys saw it. I let the game play itself to try and get through it rather than have fun playing it myself. Hey. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Just going over my tier list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, chat.
There's no camera.
Oh. Hi, chat.
There you go. There's Ern. How's your nap?
That was good.
Yeah.
I was out.
Atticus says hi.
Hi, Atticus.
Magnus says hi.
Hi, Magnus. There should be a channel point redeem.
Say hi to Ern.
Yeah.
The Ryan says hi.
Hi, the rain.
Then you'd have to be in chat all the time. Otherwise, I'd have to wait until after the stream and be like, this person said hi, this person said hi. And that's exhausting.
No, you just let me know. Like, you would queue them up, and then, at a certain time every night,
Yeah.
I would come in and, say hi to everyone.
Maybe.
It's gonna be a high roller experience.
1 million points.
Yep.
To say hi to her. Don't talk to my wife unless you have 1 million channel points.
I love you.
I have you too.
Do you need anything?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay.
Alright.
I'm gonna go have a White Claw.
Oh, exciting. Friday night.
Friday night.
Party.
Freedom.
Adults. Alright.
Bye.
Bye. So our other F tier game. Maybe you guys are surprised to see it this high. It's gonna be Pokemon Stadium. And this is tough for me because Pokemon Stadium, I feel more than any other game on this list, is a game that is crippled by hindsight. When Pokemon Stadium came out, yes, I get it. I 100% get it. Being able to see these Game Boy sprites that were already kind of janky on the Game Boy in full, top tier graphics 3D. It's a beautiful game. Pokemon Mania was at its absolute height, although you could argue it's getting there now again. But the one-note gameplay, the contempt for the player, the sheer ridiculous difficulty of this game. A game that I would add is probably marketed towards children. And then the the fact that there's just not a reason to go back to this game other than the mini games. Yeah, like there's no reason in 2021 to play Pokemon Stadium 1 because the Pokemon games out now offer a better version of the same experience. I didn't play the Happy Path. I should have. It's probably more fun doing not rental Pokemon. I certainly do agree with that. But I don't think it would have gotten it much higher than like D tier had I done that. And yeah, this is a strictly single player tier list too. This is totally based off just single player experiences. So some games are going to suffer more than others, and this tier kind of proves it. But yeah, I see the potential in both of these games, and I just don't see a reason to play either of them in the year of our Lord 2064. Alright, E tier. Games that I didn't enjoy but that I thought had bright spots. Gex 64, Enter the Gecko. Here's the thing. I described this game as an also ran, and that's how I still feel about it. I don't really think there's so many 3D platformers on the N64, and you'd have to really want more after Mario and Banjo and Conker and God, I'm drawing a blank. Like, there's a lot. There's a lot of 3D platformers, and I think you'd have to be through every single one of them and still want more of it to really enjoy Gex. The camera was god-awful. The voice clips were so repetitive and not even funny to begin with. The level design was kind of bland, and like it didn't... It wasn't great. It was never great, right? It was never great. But when you were rolling, when you were making, when you were just grabbing remote after remote, when you could get into a groove, the pacing was really good. I really liked the pacing in this game. I thought that if you weren't stuck trying to figure something out, it was a satisfying, well-timed experience. I think it was the right length of game to where when you're doing good at it, it feels satisfying to play. But that's, like I said, you'd have to be out of games to pick up Gex 64 and be like, this is a good time. I'm digging it. And then joining Gex on the E tier is the Mouse Mickey Speedway, the Goof Slide game. I really only had 2 issues with this game when all was said and done. And that is that it kind of lacked an identity. For being a strong Disney brand, they opted for these generic sort of American locales as racetracks, and the weapons were not... They were just generic weapons. The pickups were really super generic. The characters... They could have done... They couldn't have gone crazy. They couldn't have put it... I mean, they could have. It's fucking Disney. But, they didn't have, like, Simba and the Genie and Hercules. Keeping it in the Mickey universe is fine. But then to have 6 characters be ducks... I would have liked to have seen some more obscure picks, maybe. Maybe a Jiminy Cricket. Maybe a Clarabelle cow. And then the other problem with this game, though, was the difficulty. Oswald would have been cool. Even as a final unlock, that'd have been sick. But the difficulty curve for a game, again, just like Pokemon Stadium, clearly designed for a younger audience. Even, you take the Ghost Medals aside. The Ghost Medals, obviously, super hard, but meant to be end-game content for experts. The overall difficulty of the Grand Prix mode was really hard. And, yeah, I imagine that a lot of kids just got frustrated with this game and never finished it. I really like the music in it. The graphics are solid. The reason it gets a bump over Pokemon Stadium by a full tier is that it feels like skill will get you ahead in this game. You can overcome the difficulty curve by practicing and getting better. And in Pokemon Stadium, it just didn't feel that way. Sometimes it just felt like the computer was going to beat you, and that's it. That's all you were going to do. Blitz was kind of the same way. Sometimes the computer just felt like it wanted to win, and that would just have to happen. But in Mickey, there is a skill gap. You can overcome that game's difficulty. It's not random or heavily rubber banded. It's just blisteringly difficult. So I had fun with it. It's one of those games that might start climbing up the tier list because the farther detached I am from it, the more positively I find myself thinking about it. But these 6 games, I would say, are pretty skippable. Even by my standards, I think you could do all right by not playing these games, at least so far into the challenge. But everything from here on up are games that I think you guys should at least try once. And we're going to start with the D tier. Games that are worth at least one play. And we're going to start with Snowboard Kids. I know this is a really low tier. I know a lot of people in chat really like this game. And it's got a lot of neat charms. It's a cool idea to do a kart racer style game that is not like on a circular track. It's like a downhill, and then catching the ski lift at the end of every lap and riding it back up to the top, I thought was a really cool way of getting around that. But it's just a kart racer, and it's a kart racer that has really tough controls. I felt like I had to play certain characters to beat it. I felt like the rubber bands were there. The controls, I just had to fight so hard in that game. And it's kind of the same thing with Gex. There's a lot of other kart racers that I would pick before I landed on Snowboard Kids. Even with the unique flavor, even with it being a very early snowboard title before that craze really boomed off, and with the unique character designs, there just wasn't a lot to keep me wanting to come back to this game, at least not as a single-player experience. But it's worth a try, and I think you might try it and you might like it. You might want to play it more, and you might want to get good at it. So for that reason, I'm going to put it on the D tier. And sitting with it on the D tier is going to be Hexen. Hexen's the other D tier game. I think it's worth a try. I think as far as PC to N64 ports go for first-person shooters, it was executed very well. I think it was really well. It controlled well. It looked good. It ran well. But it's not as flashy as its peers. It's not... the level design is miserable. Really early FPS kind of mazes and hit a switch and try and figure out what happened when you hit it. And that kind of stuff is just aggravating to me. There's some replayability with the different difficulty levels, with the different classes that have completely different weapon layouts. So there's a reason to come back to this game. But I wouldn't say it shines. It was fun enough. It was fun enough to at least try. I didn't hate beating it. The vibes were cool. Sort of like the forests and caves and gloomy castles and everything was neat. There's a good variety of weapons. But I have to really give it a big knock for just the level design. That was rough. And that brings us to C tier. Games that I thought were not good games necessarily, but still fun enough to play. Didn't mean to highlight that with my mouse. I'm going to put Fighting Force here. Fighting Force could have been a lot better, but the character balance was so lopsided. Like, having to play as Crusher probably bumped this game way up, because that was a really fun playthrough. And a lot of that could be skill gap, too, because I kind of felt it was more fun with the last two characters I played than the first two. Could just be that I got better at it. The branching paths based on score is a neat idea, but it's really tough to implement because some of those requirements are super high. I think as a two-player game, it's probably, you know, a good way to kill an afternoon. There's not a lot of beat-em-ups on the N64. It's not super polished, though. It doesn't hit you in the face with its quality. But the quality's there. A good time is there to be had. It's tough, but it's not too difficult. It's short, but the length gets padded out by having to game over and start over a couple times to get the hang of the game. And then once you do that, it's probably a little too long, but it's still fun. Like I said, I think it's worth playing. I think it's probably worth playing with a friend, and you could probably enjoy a day together working your way through that game. That'd be a good time. Yeah, exactly, Hector. That was fun. We should do it again. Then you're like, Fighting Force? Nah, not Fighting Force. But nothing wrong with it. It was still good. And then next to Fighting Force is Dr. Mario 64. And I gotta say, it kills me to have this game rated so low. Because I like well puzzle games. I grew up with Dr. Mario. I love the look of it. I love the gameplay. I love the music. But Dr. Mario 64 is just like a template lazy game. The big addition to Dr. Mario 64 is the 4-player mode, which is probably, you know, one of the better puzzle experiences you might have on the N64. But cramming 4 wells onto the screen makes the graphics really tight and crunchy. Everything about this game felt like it was kind of thrown together as an afterthought. And so I liked it. I would play it again, but it's kind of like Jeopardy, where, you know, there isn't a ton of reason to play this one over the NES one or the Super Nintendo one. The 4-player mode is what kind of bumps it, and the fact that it was just it looked good. It had that cool kind of Paper Mario style. It had a vampire Wario in its story, dorky, so that's cool. Really challenging difficulty at the end, until it wasn't. But if you're a Dr. Mario master, playing against the CPU is still a challenge, and that, you know, it's something that you could play. But is it great? No. It could have been with some fresh ideas, maybe a couple risks taken. It could have been great, but this felt too safe, too hastily thrown together as like a swan song. We gotta release an N64 game. That platform's still open. You know, it didn't even get released in Japan. So it's gonna end up on just missing the cut for the top half of this tier list. Is this taking too long? It might be taking too long. I don't know. But now we're doing B tier. We're in the top 10. We're in the top half of the N64 now. Games that I felt were solidly enjoyable. You know, not great, but good. Something that I liked playing. Would I recommend them? Not off the top of my head. But if you're looking for some deep cuts, you could do worse. And I'm going to say Bomberman 64. Solidly enjoyable. Yeah, if you rent it, you won't regret it. This is a weekend. This is a weekend game. Bomberman 64 was solidly enjoyable. It's got good music. It's a really interesting take on Bomberman. This is kind of the opposite of Dr. Mario again, where this game took a shitload of risks. And some of them paid off. I wish the bomb bridges weren't so important to this game, and if they were, I wish the game taught you how to do them. This game doesn't really teach you its most complex mechanics that it leans heavy on to get through the harder parts until the end of the game. Until you've seen the credits, basically, is when you start realizing how deep this game goes, which is kind of a neat way to do it, where you can kind of play through it very plainly, and then the game shows you like, oh, this shit gets crazy if you want it to. But ultimately, those mechanics were clunky. They were difficult to work around. Bomb bridges and the puzzle solving in this game was more struggle than satisfaction. I didn't feel good after figuring out how to do things. I felt annoyed. But the core gameplay is there. You know, it's got a 4-player multiplayer mode if you like that. If you don't 100% this game, you can have some fun with it. Maybe you don't even want to beat it, but it's still like Hector said. You could rent this and be like, oh, Bomberman 64, good game. That's a good game. So we got 2 more Bombermen. I don't know if they're going to be better or worse, but I'm going to say B for Bomberman. B tier for Bomberman. And then next to Bomberman, B-Ball on the B tier. Kobe Bryant and NBA Courtside really impressed me. It's not a standout. It's probably not even the best basketball game on the N64, but I was really kind of taken aback by how invested I got into this game and how flexible this game was. I'm a big fan of flexibility in game design, and being able to change this from a hardcore, super difficult sim realistic basketball game to a silly NBA Jam foul happy no rules basketball game was really impressive and really endearing to me. I probably would not have had as much fun with it if I couldn't simplify it a little bit, and so I was really grateful for that. But it was a game that I felt like, even though the formula that I was running became very rote and I kept doing the same thing in most games, I could have mixed it up. I had to sometimes. It didn't feel like wins were guaranteed, even when I learned some cheese. And I was invested. I was invested in like pretty much every game I played of it. Obviously, if you're not into sports, that game's not going to win you over. But I think it could. I think it could be a good gateway game into sports games. Because it's just accessible. It's accessible and it's designed to appeal to players of different skill levels or interest in basketball. And I wasn't expecting that at all. So I'm going to say Kobe Bryant NBA Courtside is a B tier game. Solidly enjoyable. Just solid. Good, solid game. A tier time. Good games with rough spots. Games that I liked but had some things that were annoying. And these two games are very similar. I'm going to put them up at the same time. I'm going to put Excitebike 64. I'm going to put Wave Race 64 on the A tier. Both Nintendo racing games. Both not car-based. Both really unique ideas and different takes on the genre, with Excitebike having a lot of interesting terrain and having to balance the sort of angle of your bike in order to keep your speed up. Wave Race having the dynamic water conditions and being a slalom buoy-driven racing game. Both great graphics, good environments. There just isn't enough here to make these games great. They were super fun. I liked them both a lot. I just, like, they don't stand out. It's kind of the same thing with Mickey all the way down there. These are much more higher polished, more identity-driven games than Mickey was, but there's so many racing games on the N64. To be above these games, you have to be great. But these are solid. They're fun. The difficulty can get a bit tough sometimes, which is good, but it can be frustrating. There's no real comeback mechanics to these. There's no weapons. There's no, there's not really even shortcuts for the most part. It's just do good, don't screw up, and there's not much else I can say about them. They got good music. They got good presentation. The multiplayer is basic. There's nothing that really elevates these games to the highest echelon, but they're really good. They're good games. So they're both A tier. We got 6 games left. 6 games left. So A+ games. Games that I feel are absolutely worth beating once. That you should absolutely finish. Because you'll have a good time. I'm going to say Tony Hawk Pro Skater is an A+ game. Beating it once isn't that hard. It's an iconic game. It's responsive. It feels good. You don't have to go out of your way to finish this game once, and if you do it, you're probably going to have a fun time. These games are deceptively fun for people who don't play Tony Hawk games. They're just really entertaining. They're a good combination of being sort of true to skateboarding and at the same time being silly and arcade style, and they don't take themselves too seriously, and that becomes more apparent as the series goes on. Tony Hawk 1 plays things pretty straight for the most part, but it's fun. You pick a skater, you play a couple times, you're playing in 2-minute bursts. So even if you're not knowing what you're doing and you're fucking up, you're only in there for 2 minutes, and then you go, okay, Let me do that again. This game has a great gameplay loop. You're always wanting to give it one more go. Let me get a higher score. Let me try and get this goal that I didn't get last time. And it just compounds and compounds and compounds. And you can easily lose hours into this game trying to go beat your best score, trying to find gaps, trying to beat every goal or do things with different skaters. You got a good variety of levels in this game. This one has the downhill levels, which didn't quite work in the long-term scheme of Tony Hawk, but this is the first step. And even as a first step, it's great. It's a great time. And I think if you've never played a Tony Hawk game, you could pick a better one than this one, but you wouldn't be wrong choosing Tony Hawk 1. You'd still have a good time. Death Zero, we haven't played Zelda yet. We haven't played it yet, so it's not on the list. These are only games we've played and 100%ed on the N64 challenge. Well, there's a couple ways you can make that happen. You can participate in the next sub-raffle. You could save up enough channel points to do a director's chair. There's a couple ways you can get Zelda. Or you can wait, and it'll come up eventually. Alright, also worth beating once alongside Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I gotta give it to Pilot Wings. Really enjoyed that game. And the difficulty got hard enough that I wouldn't recommend everybody go out and 100% this one. Everything above these two, I think you should 100%. I think you'll have a great time 100%ing. But Pilot Wings was so varied in its gameplay. You got 6 different vehicles, 6 different characters with 3 stat classes. The graphics are still good for the N64 on this launch title game. Paradigm did a great job on the engine for this game. The music is nice and laid back for the most part. The objectives are super varied, and they let you, like Tony Hawk, if you're struggling, you can pick different objectives. You can pick different missions and build your score up high enough to beat the game. In a multitude of ways. So even if you find one level to be too difficult, you can try something else and maybe get your progress through that way. So that, again, that flexibility makes this game worth beating. You should beat this game because it is a very relaxed, varied experience. It can be played in a number of different ways. It's such a great follow-up to the Super Nintendo Pilot Wings, and I think it stands head and shoulders above a lot of different N64 games. That's why I've got it in the A+ tier. I think it's just damn good. Damn good. Unique. There's not really another game like this. There's other flight sims, but they tend to be more combat driven. And this is an experience you're not going to find in a lot of other places. There are games like this, but they're few and far between, and certainly on the N64 there's not a lot like that. So those two, I think, yeah. If you got an N64, you're looking for games to play, games to beat, games to finish. Those two are really, really good. Yeah, I love Pilot Wings 2 Mooware. The 3DS one is good. I think it's probably my least favorite of the 3, but it's still really fun. Pilot Wings 64 is my favorite Pilot Wings game. So damn good. So damn good. So now we're S tier. These are games that I think you could 100% and they'd still be fun the whole way through. And if you caught my spoiler early, you've already seen them, and I'm sorry that I let the cat out of the bag, but we're down to the final 4, the best games we've played so far. I've got to say, Mystical Ninja starring Goemon, fun from start to finish. Just a fun, fun game. This game combines 3D platforming elements with action elements. It's got 4 playable characters that you have to use in certain situations. A full inventory of upgrades and items to find. Hidden collectibles everywhere. Yeah, it's always going to be equally split across all tiers, Holybeard. So by the end of the challenge, it's going to be 40 games per tier. But yeah, banging soundtrack, great sense of humor. This game doesn't take itself seriously, but it executes so well. It's just a blast. If you like this genre at all, it is a game that you really can't miss. It's so fun. The collectibles are in hidden, difficult places sometimes, but they're not required, but they're not hard to find. Like if you turn this game upside down, you'll find everything. It never really gets stale. It's just so good. Yeah, I think I could do that. I think I could do that, Hector. Remind me in a year and a half when we're doing this again. But yeah, this is a game it's not on any other platform. It's an N64 exclusive. We're really lucky to have gotten it in America, I think. But it's fun. It's funny. It's a great single-player experience that's not quite as deep and grindy as a Zelda. It's lighter. It's like an airier, less stressful, kind of game. The difficulty's way lower. It's not hard to find the path you're supposed to follow in this game, and there's lots of jokes peppered in and a really upbeat, playful soundtrack that kind of keeps you vibing good and just feeling good while you're playing that game. You absolutely should play Mystical Ninja Star and Goemon, and if you 100% it, you won't be tired of it. You'll want more. And joining it in the S tier is going to reveal what's all left on the board. I'm going to put Pokemon Snap with Mystical Ninja in the S tier. Pokemon Snap's iconic, man. We're finally getting the sequel, and people are ready for it. Like, that's how good this game is. It's a unique take on rail shooters. It allows for some puzzle solving, some creativity. It's a good-looking game with good audio. It's super well paced. It doesn't take very long to 100% this game, and if you're into filling out your Pokedex, you're going to want to find one more. You're going to want to keep going and trying to find where all these hidden Pokemon are across 7-8 different courses, 63 different Pokemon to find. It's so playful and so it brings elements in that you wouldn't expect to see in this genre mishmash. You've got a rail shooter style gameplay with full 360 vision, or 180 vision, I guess, since you can't really look down. It's got the photo mode from Pilot Wings, where you have to take good photos. You have to think about composition and like how you can set up photos to get more points and to just get more and more and more points out of it. It's on the shorter side, which benefits it in the sense that you don't get tired of this game. You'll finish it and you'll wish there was more content. You'll want to revisit this game every few years and just play through it. It could have been longer. It's a little tough that you only got a third of the Pokemon at the time. Triple S tier if Golduck was in it, absolutely. Yeah, it's just an extremely good game. It's an extremely good game. It's different from a lot of other games you'll ever play. It's a game that it is legendary, I think, on the N64, and for now, I'm not saying it's an essential experience, but that's because it's up against some really stiff competition there at the bottom. But yeah, you can score attack this game, you can 100% this game. It's cute, it's fun, it's not stressful, it's just a good time, and it's absolutely worth a full playthrough. So, no sense in delaying it. We'll talk about them one at a time. But as far as essential N64 experiences, this time around I got to give it to Mario and GoldenEye. Mario is such an odd... It's not an odd pick at all, but it's weird to me that maybe more than any other system, obviously the Nintendo didn't launch with Super Mario Brothers, but that's sort of the game that everyone bought Nintendos for, and it's still a good game. And the Super Nintendo launched with Super Mario World. Still a good game. But when you look back at those systems, you go like, yeah, they're great games, but there's better options out there. Are they essential experiences? Probably, but you can tell that games sort of did better. And with Mario 64, you're really hard pressed to think that. I honestly think you're really hard pressed to find better N64 games than Mario, the first N64 game. And I think a lot of that is due to its long development time. It doesn't feel like Mario 64 was made for the N64. It feels like the N64 was made for Mario 64. Everything from the control scheme to the graphics and sound capabilities all seem to be playing into the vision of this game. And it's just iconic. It's still good. Even if you're like, early 3D's hard to stomach, the camera controls are weird, you know, things are awkward. I genuinely think that this game holds up. I think this game is still fun to play. I think, you know, you may have a couple headaches as far as control are concerned, but it's so fun and so well paced. You can play it for hours, or you can play it in tiny bite-sized chunks and still work your way through it. It's not a perfect game, maybe. You know, it's got some rough missions. It's got some levels that are kind of bland. But Mario 64 is... yeah, it goes without saying. If you own an N64, you have to own this game. You have to play this game. It is, for better or worse, this is the N64 in a nutshell. It's Mario 64. And right along with it, obviously, again, GoldenEye. A lot of people have kind of fallen off this game because the controls are outdated. But there's so much working in this game. So much working in this game that is so fresh for its time that it's still exciting to go back to. And first-person shooters have evolved so much in so many different ways that it still kind of feels fresh to come back to GoldenEye with its very straightforward deathmatch and capture the flag multiplayer modes, the 4-player split screen, the objective-driven single-player campaign that's dynamic depending on which difficulty you're playing on. The music is really tight and strong, despite mostly being remixes of the like a theme and variation, basically. It has the 2-controller mode if you need 2 analog sticks, and yeah, it's not aged as well as Mario. Certainly, I get that. I absolutely get that. But the word essential, when we're thinking essential experiences, obviously GoldenEye's got to be on that list. This game was a phenomenon. This game dominated multiplayer get-togethers. It was the reason to own an N64 for years, and maybe still is. And whether you want it as a multiplayer game or want it as a single-player game, it delivers. It's so balanced. There's not a lot of low points. There's certainly difficulty that's tough to overcome. Some of those cheats are hard to unlock, but they also included a button code that you can, you know, now we know you can unlock all those features. You can just out of the box enjoy this as a fully idealized multiplayer game, or you can grind through the single player campaign and earn it, and it's fun either way. It might be the best multiplayer game on the N64, and I think it's one of the best single player games as well. And so for that reason, it joins Mario on the triple S tier, and there's our tier list. 5% of the N64 complete. This stream went a lot longer than I thought it would. But I hope you guys enjoyed. You put Stadium in E. Stadium was going to climb. Don't worry. As we play more games, I think Stadium's going to climb. Renting my Pokemon definitely hampered the experience, but the biggest reason, like I said, the biggest reason Stadium is an F is because I just don't see a reason to play it anymore. I don't see a reason to ever boot that game up when you could just play Sword and Shield or Sun and Moon. Like the mainline Pokemon franchise has caught up to the experience that Stadium delivered on. And so the game's basically, in my mind, irrelevant. It just doesn't merit a purchase or a playthrough because what made it novel isn't novel anymore. But yeah, if you want, if you're looking for something to play this weekend, definitely pick any of these D tier on up games. If you're looking for something new to beat, something to take off your backlog, A+ and up, absolutely worth your time. If you're a snob and you only want the creme de la creme experience, you know, these S tier and triple S tier games, absolutely. Absolutely. So there you go, everybody. I have talked way more than I usually do. I hope you guys enjoyed this data-driven experience. We will come back to this next sub-raffle after 35 games. You only play G tier? Hey man, I get it. Trust me, I get it. I still would say these aren't for me. Here's where I'd say, yeah. These E tier and up is where I was like, I don't regret it. F tier and down, I regret it. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the support. Thanks for being here. I'm generally not a fan of Twitch streams where no games are being played, but I like putting these together. I'm glad you guys enjoy them. They wouldn't happen without you subbing and watching the N64. If the passion from you guys wasn't there, the passion for me to do this wouldn't be there either. I would have given up already. So thank you all so much for supporting what I do, for being excited for the N64, for joining me on every step of this journey. As I said, we're going to have a schedule poll in the Discord this weekend. I'll post the link again. If you're not a member of the Discord, you can join the Discord. So some fun stuff happening there, some conversations. It's not popping, but it's good. We have a director's chair coming up on Monday featuring some non-N60... Oh, shit. I just put that on stream. God damn it. This is why I don't do window capture. We have some non-N64 games coming up. We're taking a break from the N64 while we play some games that Toan wants to see. So check those out. If you're here just for the N64, you can watch some other streams for a bit. But we got some backlog games coming up. So stick around for those. But I think that's going to do it for me. I think that's going to do it for me. Hope you guys... There's our tier list. If you want to screenshot that, you can screenshot that. Discuss it. Remember, tier lists are not... they're not law. They're not definitive. This is just a vessel for conversation to happen. If you disagree with me, good. If you agree with me, good. But this is my opinion. This is my take so far. The next time we do this tier list is going to be when we're 10% done. There's going to be 4 games in each of these tiers. So new games added, games getting bumped up or down based on how those games go. We'll revisit this. You think Snowboard Kids should be C tier? That's fair. I think that's totally fair. If you want to see the top 20 most picked games again, there you go. That's what you guys voted the most for. If you want to see what's coming up, there you are. After we finish No Mercy and Banjo-Tooie, these are the next games we have slotted into the N64 Complete Works, unless there are director's chairs, and there probably will be. I hope you guys are looking forward to it. I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, we'll see you Monday, okay? We will see you Monday. Take care, everybody. Why don't we raid? Let's raid Critically Lit. I'm actually really excited. I don't know what's causing this. Twitch has revamped the raid channel button in a way that's very exciting to me, because some streamers that I don't follow but I'm interested in are creeping into my raid options when I click the button. And I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know what black magic they're working, but I'm super into it. I like the idea of having some wildcard picks thrown into the mix. I'll have to research the 100% conditions on all these games now that they've been picked. I'm going to look into it, see what each one of them is going to involve. But yeah, all world records or all gold medals sounds about right. Let's see, where are we going? I know where we're going, but what are they doing? We are going to raid... Ooh. We're going to raid Critically Lit, one of Ern's new favorite streamers. He gave us a raid last night. Super cool dude. He is a hamburger VTuber. I've been playing some great retro games like ActRaiser and Illusion of Gaia, but apparently Friday night is Retro Viewer's Choice. So I guess you can suggest some games. It sounds like the slots fill up quick, but if you want to see a hamburger, you want to see video games, check out Critically Lit. I'm going to raid you guys over there. Thanks, everybody, for watching this purely talking stream. I'm going to be quiet for the rest of the weekend. You might see me doing some front mission. Maybe. I'm going to try, but I don't promise anything. Either tomorrow or Sunday. All right, cool. I'll see you guys later. Thanks so much. Thank you for being a part of this community. Get ready for more exciting games starting on Monday. Until then, bye.